Foreclosure is a big word for something very basic.
Nigerian managed to slip through the security net with explosives hidden in his.
We've had 4 days of wall-to-wall hysteria worldwide about this.
When you put that number in, you're looking at double, 22.1% unemployment.
1 in 10 Americans still cannot find work. Many businesses have shuttered, home values have declined.
President Obama has summed up his first year in office. A lot happened, and a lot has been happening. One of the things that the president didn't mention in his State of the Union address is the situation in the Middle East. Even though last year, in his Cairo speech, President Obama made peace in the Middle East his #1 priority. We know a lot is happening in Israel right now. For example, there's news coming out of Israel. There's a rumor that construction is going to begin on the Third Holy Temple in Jerusalem on March 16th. And although this might be based on a beautiful tradition, the fact is construction can begin on the Holy Temple right now. And you know, everywhere that we look in the Bible, in the Holy Torah, we find that God emphasizes our role in bringing about the redemption today. How many times do we see verses like, "The things which I command you today, and you shall place them upon your heart today." Today you heard God speak to you. All of these verses emphasize that God commands us today. And when we find that God commands us in the book of Exodus, "You shall make for me a sanctuary, and I will dwell among you," He didn't tell us to wait until March 16th, 2010. He told us today. Every day is a good day to start building the Holy Temple, and the enthusiasm and the response of people is so beautiful. Is it really going to be happening next month? Well, you know, it's up to us to make it happen now. And one of the whole problems with calculating when these things are going to happen, even if we choose a date that's coming up really soon, the problem is that we're immediately saying, well, it can't happen before that. And the truth is, it's all dependent upon us, and God says, today, I command you these things today. The response by so many to news of the imminent construction of the Holy Temple is overwhelming, and that in itself is so encouraging. There are so many people of commitment and integrity who share the vision of the rebuilding of the Holy Temple, who want to participate. And again, it's always time to rebuild the Holy Temple. This has been the goal of the Temple Institute for 23 years now. And the record of our accomplishments speak for itself. Unfortunately, like mushrooms after the rain, unscrupulous people rise up and take advantage of the enthusiasm of others. And there are those today who claim to be working with the Temple Institute, raising funds, and unfortunately, these statements are patently false. Let me reassure you that if you do not hear something from the Temple Institute in our name, it is simply not true. Always check the website of the Temple Institute and its Facebook page to ascertain whether or not such rumors are in fact true. We're talking about building the Holy Temple, building Jerusalem. In his recent Time magazine interview, President Obama admitted the failure of his Middle East policy, a policy whose main component is the imposition of a freeze on the building of Jewish homes in the land of Israel, including Jerusalem, Israel's capital. But this policy is in direct opposition to the Word of God. For God declares in Psalms 147, "The builder of Jerusalem is God." Jerusalem is meant to be built up, not frozen. Does President Obama get it? Does he connect the dots? Do you think that President Obama sees the reality of the situation in the same manner as you and I? Does he connect his failed domestic policy, America's faltering economy, the foreclosures, the unemployment? Does he realize the connection between this and the building freeze in Israel? Haggai the prophet tells us, what did you expect? he exhorts us in the name of God to resume the construction of the Holy Temple with these words. Is this a time for you yourselves to sit in your paneled houses while this house is in ruins? And God tells us that it's all because of my temple, which is ruined, while you run each to his own house. Can a prophecy be frozen? Can destiny be frozen? It's up to us to decide. Together, we can rebuild the Holy Temple today.